Throughout my ministry life as a church pastor, I heard the words, "You are planting seeds." I know that means that the ideas that I introduced into church as I pastored may not blossom while I'm there, but they might in the future. Honestly speaking, that's not as comforting as you might think. I was assigned to a church that wanted to build an expansion of their facility. A building committee was formed one year before I got sent to the church, and they spoke with a builder. Their plan was for a $1.7 million building. The church could not afford that. The pastor retired, and I was sent in. The administrative board looked at me and wanted to know what I was going to do about this project. Well, the church hired a fundraising company, which did not do the job they promised, to run a capital campaign. Be wary of that. Even with the campaign, the church could not ever raise the $1.7 million. It was just way too small. Well, oh yes. Did I mention, by the way, that I'm a second career pastor? And during my years in my computer engineering days, I was a project manager for several large computer installations, which included some building work. Therefore, the board looked at me and said, "It's now your responsibility." Well, really, it shouldn't have been, but it was. So I created a new building committee. 5 people volunteered for the committee. As I always did at the first meeting, I asked each person why they volunteered. One man said, "I'm here to stop you." Well, that was real encouraging. Not. He tried everything, but eventually he left the committee because he couldn't stop us. I showed the original builder of the church a scaled down version of the building. That company quoted it at $1.2 million. That was still way over what the church could do. The committee was about to fold when I found a church builder. This company built church facilities on the side to keep their crews working in between jobs. I negotiated with the builder and got the price down to $493,000 for a 7,300 square foot addition. It had as much as was possible of the original idea in it. The committee was surprised, but accepted the bid. I was told by the detractors that there would be overruns and that the original builder of the church was correct and that it would take $1.2 million to complete the project. I had a lot of experience in this area, and I drew the contract up with a clause that said the cost of the building must not and cannot exceed $493,000. The builder underestimated a few things and wanted to get more money, but I held him to his contract. Several detractors who wanted the $1.2 million original builder to build the addition left the church very angry. Why? Because I got it done for over half the price. I never understood that. I never will. They should have applauded my effort. No, they left angry. Well, go figure. I guess they didn't like being told they were wrong. However, there were several church members who stayed and were angry about the addition. Consultants say that you lose about 15% of your membership because of a capital campaign. Church lost that amount. Several people who voted against the building created an impossible situation for me to stay. So I requested another assignment. I was treated poorly by angry folks, and my supporters decided they didn't want to fight for me. Several years later, I was told that the church addition became an important part of the church's life. Some new ministry efforts were created in that new space. They also rented the space to help their yearly budget and costs. My wife ran into the new pastor of the church about 5 years after we left, and he told her that people were grateful that I got the building built, and they regretted how they treated me. The seeds planted with the new addition grew into useful ministries for the town. Now, it was nice to hear that the seeds planted became something good. Sadly, though, it had a bitter taste because of the passive-aggressive behavior of those who were against the project. These people did not contribute money to the project. I had calculated that with the contributions that at the end of the 3-year giving period, the church would owe $15,000 to the bank. The church paid off the loan early, and attributed it to my understanding of finances. That was nice to hear. Well, think about Jesus' situation. He had 3 years to plant seeds. He saw some growth of his disciples and followers. He also saw a rise in hatred toward his work. What was wrong to love God and to love each other? It is a message that is, if followed today, would make the world a paradise. Jesus planted seeds. He was not as popular during his lifetime as he should have been. However, after his death, his message became popular and spread like wildfire in the Roman world. John's gospel considers Jesus glorified because the gospel is being spread in the world. Perhaps today we should talk to people about following the message of loving God and loving neighbor, not about church particularly. The connotations of outsiders have not been positive about the church. I was an outsider for 35 years, and I heard about the infighting and the church's desire for money. That is not the gospel. What I just described are the weeds that could grow in Jesus' garden, and we need to remove the weeds. When you talk to people about Jesus Christ, I suggest you discuss love God, love neighbor. Don't push the church attendance button for a while. People need to see the love of Jesus outside of the church because there's just so many negativities in the church. It is more important to make disciples for Jesus Christ than it is to make members for your own church. Over time, your seeds will grow, and that person you introduce to Jesus' message of love will seek other believers to be with. Remember to water the seed, and that is to help the person find the love of God in their life. I know it is against the trend because of declining membership. However, I stand by the statement that it is more important to make disciples for Jesus Christ than it is to make church members. To me, it doesn't matter what Christian community a person joins. Rather, it is important that I place the seed of discipleship into a person who did not know Jesus and that it grew. God bless you for listening to this message. I hope it blesses you in some way, shape, or form. And as always, shalom.